Hello, private practice owners. This is Lisa Wozniak with Woz Marketing, coming to you again today with a virtual coffee I'm having with Joanne Royer. Dr. Royer is a life coach out of Pasadena, California, and she has a very interesting take on how she helps career women silence that inner voice that keeps you up at night. So welcome, Dr. Royer. We're thrilled to have you today.
Hi, Lisa. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely our pleasure. So I'd like to give folks a little bit more interesting information about you that maybe they don't know. So for example, you have a background in psychology and made the switch into life coaching. And tell me a little bit about how you made that transition into the coaching realm.
Yes, so I was a practicing psychotherapist for, almost 25 years now, largely in agency work, largely over multiple teams of professionals and either starting their career in mental health or looking to expand and get into a different phase of their work. And largely I saw that what was keeping them stuck in really showing up with their clients and being their best selves was a lot of the inner dialogue that they were experiencing through their the critical voice inside of them, questioning their competency, questioning their capability, questioning whether they were good enough to move into a different career or step into that promotion or opportunity that was in front of them. So, thoughts tend to be very habitual. I always talk about thoughts in relation to food because most of us have experienced keeping some sort of food journal, whether it's for medications or weight loss or just health benefits. And over time, you really see that, over the course of a week, we tend to eat the same type of food, a baked chicken, roasted chicken, what have you. It's the same type of experience that we tend to have with our thoughts. So over the years, starting, from when we're very young, we start to take in stories that other people are telling us, stories that we tell ourselves in relation to an experience, that we've had. We all of us, it's human, contend with self-doubt and esteem-related issues and confidence-related issues. But over time, if we're not really seeing the results that we're wanting in our lives or various domains of our life, we start to really tend to believe the critical voice. And we move further and further away from that heart-centered voice. So I like to really teach women to listen more to their heart-centered voice. That's always speaking to us as well, but we tend to not listen to it. And if we do, we tend to not trust it. Why? Because we are more familiar in listening to the critical thoughts that tend to come up. Those become very familiar for us. Even if we're feeling doubtful, we're feeling a lack of confidence or self-esteem, it's familiar over time. And we all know that change, you've heard the word, stepping out of our comfort zone. I mean, there's a reason why that keeps coming up in all of the readings, whether it's, career-related journals or just, personal health-related journals. It's hard to step out of change because change requires courage and risk-taking, and we are creatures of habit, so it's much easier for us to stay in a thought or a feeling, even if it's not getting us the results that we're wanting, and even if it's not something we would rather feel. So just in the course of my work in mental health, I realized, yes, the past is great. There's a place for mental health, but I truly believe that not everybody needs psychotherapy. So I am much more action-oriented, results focused. I really like to use past experiences as lessons versus mistakes. How can we learn from what happened? But you've got this whole wide future ahead of you. So how can you step out and into being your best self so that you can create a different result and a different future for yourself? So anyway, coaching, I got into coaching in 2006 before it was this sexy word. You hear everybody is using the word coach, but in 2006, it wasn't very well known. It was more known in the corporate America. But I really melded more towards that type of philosophy. And so I went through a International Coaching Federation approved, I'm trying to find the word, approved program in 2006. And I've been really using coaching principles with whether building teams or working with, career-minded women who are creating encore careers, those that are, 50 and older. Okay, what's next? Been there, done that. I'm wanting more. So those are really the women that I, are my specialty, if you will.
Yeah, it's interesting having originally come from a corporate background as well. It's interesting that it wasn't until I was positioning myself to leave the corporate world and go out on my own that I began to hear just how prevalent those things that you're talking about really are. Because when you're in that moment, when you are a woman who is in that moment with all of those negative thoughts and that whole imposter syndrome thing going on, you really do feel like you're the only one.
Absolutely.
It wasn't until I was leaving that world that I began to hear so many other women going, oh yeah, I feel that way too. And, oh, I didn't get very much sleep at night last night. My body was tired, but I couldn't shut my brain off kind of thing. And just how prevalent that is. And what I would love to know, as somebody who has made that shift from psychotherapy into this coaching approach with women who are going through that, what are the changes that you're starting to see out there?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question because I'm just writing to that actually, like a before and after. So, a lot of women come to me, I'm afraid all the time. I realize, I'm excited about wanting to make a change. I want to make a change. But honestly, I'm fearful, and so we kind of talk about all of the thoughts that because my belief is you can't really have a feeling without first having a thought. Most of us are more attuned to what we're feeling, especially women. We are more emotional, and more power to us, and it's a beautiful thing to be that way. But it's harder to really connect the thoughts that's behind the feeling. So oftentimes, women will say, I know I feel a void, I feel an emptiness. I want to do more with my life. My kids are transitioning into, adulthood, leaving home for college and what have you. What's next for me? I've always taken care of the home. Maybe that they were CEO of their family, if you will. And so now it's like, I want to do more. I've always been interested in X, Y, and Z. How do I step into it? But I'm afraid and I'm not feeling confident. So with all that said, I don't want to keep repeating myself, but given that this is a new year, I have kind of done an assessment with all of the clients that, I've been working with, what are their top three? What are the top three shifts that they've noticed? Because now we're working on targeting, where they want to move to next into 2019. But the shifts that they talk about is being more mindful of what they're thinking. You need to be more mindful of what you're thinking and be aware of what you're thinking before you can step into creating a different thought. right? Because you're trying to break the habit of the negative thinking. But you at least first need to be mindful of that. So they're more mindful of what they're thinking. They're more able to deliberately think ahead. So maybe they have an interview. Maybe they want to put in an application for a teaching position or a promotion or, a volunteer job, what have you. They're able to think ahead and recognize, okay, recognize this is how I'm thinking about it. This is how it's making me feel. How would I rather show up for that interview? How would I rather, think and feel? So they're able to start making some shifts and be more deliberate and proactive and preventative, if you will. And they're more, they've talked about the results that they've gotten, that because they're able to recognize their thoughts and their feelings, all of that leads to our behavior or our action or inaction. They're able to now say, you know what, I stepped out of my comfort zone and survived, and it was okay, and it wasn't as bad as all of these stories that I was telling myself, and I was able to do it. So to me, those are really beautiful, results to hear. And the other thing about coaching, and I've realized this because I would write to the clients at the year end, look what you've accomplished in the course of this year. And what I recognize is I haven't been working with them for a year. This is 3 months, 6 months worth of work. So it's even amazed me that, wait a minute, we haven't been working together for a year. It's really been 6 months. And look at the progress, the tangible outcomes that they've been able to identify. So, that's the other piece about coaching is, when you're committed to showing up, I mostly meet with clients every week. I do, also offer an 80-minute makeshift tune-up, if you will. But if you're committed to showing up and doing the work and being open to exploring, what's been keeping you stuck, it's amazing the results that quickly start to come into play.
So, Dr. Royer, what do you find is the most rewarding part of your job as a coach?
Oh, well, without a doubt, it's realization. I mean, I always send out a summary of our calls, so it's almost you get two for you get 50 minutes of me, plus you probably get more than you want, but you at least get 2-3 pages of summarizing the work that you just did, so you have an extra added. So I usually always get a response from clients that, thank you for summarizing this, or I can't believe what I've done, or, what, I realize that I am able to, create this change for myself. Without a doubt, it's realization, because realization moves into empowerment. And so that's the bottom line for me. When I can work with a woman who's coming to me initially and saying, I don't think I can do this, and I don't really know what I bring to the table, and I'm scared and I'm anxious all the time, or I'm always worried, or I just don't think that I'm good enough, for them to step into feeling powerful, that they can step out of a comfort zone and truly feel uncomfortable, because that's what change is. It's, it's the yin and the yang, and feel powerful in doing that. That's everything for me. That's just everything. Icing on the cake.
You can definitely see the passion in your face when you talk about what you do. That's terrific.
Love it. I love it.
So now, do you have, I always like to close with one of these two questions, so you can pick which one you want to answer. Do you have a favorite quote? Or if you don't have a favorite quote, what is your favorite book?
Here comes my cat, of course, perfect timing. I think my favorite book right now I have to be honest. I'm getting, I do have a PhD. I went through school for a long time, so I've done a lot of reading. So I'm getting, excuse me, I got my cat. So I'm trying to get back into reading. But one of the books that I'm reading right now is Playing Big by Tara Moore. I really love it because, I mean, she speaks to, and I see this in how, again, we tend to play small because we're thinking small. And so it's just a beautiful book because it resonates with the work that I do. But it reinforces, it's always nice to know that to get reinforcement that you're on the right track in your work and the direction that you're, going down and it's a huge responsibility to coach somebody else. And so it's nice to know that, okay, I'm moving people along, down the right path. And so, yeah, so Playing Big by Tara Moore is my current book. I do have a quote that I'm actually staring at. I have some quotes, behind my desk that I tend to read. The quote here is, there will be few things in life that ignite your passion. And when you find it, you must do it. And I love that quote. Yes, I love that quote. That's by Brooke Castillo. I love that quote because in a nutshell, that's what led me to coaching. I was really passionate about it. I was nervous about leaving psychotherapy. I don't practice psychotherapy anymore, so I was kind of myself nervous in venturing into a new profession, if you will. But I knew I was passionate about it, so I needed to do it. And that's really, in a sense, what I encourage the women that I work with to do as well. Follow their passion, follow what their heart is saying, not always what their mind is trying to tell them.
Well, that's actually a perfect segue. So for women who are going through a lot of that negative headspace kind of stuff, career women who may be struggling with a little bit of that imposter syndrome that's keeping them up at night, what's the best way for them to reach out and connect with you?
The best way is going to my website, because you have then 3 opportunities, maybe even 4, to connect with me. So do you want me to tell you, is there a place, Lisa, that you'll put my website on there, or should I just tell you? It's very easy.
Yeah, go ahead and do that, and then we'll go ahead and put that as a blurb along the bottom of the screen as well. Great.
So it's www.joanne, JOANNE, ROYER, PhD.com. And so there you'll have a variety of options. I have a Monday Morning Minute, which is not quite a minute anymore. It's starting to get a little long. But basically every Monday in your inbox, you can sign up for a bite-sized bit of coaching to start your week off. So that's just a matter of just joining that list that comes out every Monday morning. You'll see a button that you can press to immediately schedule a no cost. It's on me. It's my gift to you. 30 minutes. It's a virtual coaching call by phone or by Zoom. So that's a 30-minute coaching. Bring a thought that's keeping you stuck or keeping you up at night, and we'll, work through it. And I guarantee you will have some takeaway tips and action steps after the call. There's a coaching service page, so you can see all the different types of ways you can get coaching with me, whether it's weekly. And I find sometimes weekly commitment, it is hard to step into that. So that's why I for a couple of clients in the past, I only reserve that for people that I used to work with that were former clients of mine. And now, because it was so beneficial to some of them, I decided to, hey, why don't I open this up to everybody? And so I am currently promoting an 80-minute tune-up. So it's a makeshift tune-up. It's 80 minutes. We immediately hit the ground running. It's very action oriented. It's goal driven. It's focused focused on the results that you want. You get my ebook, you get my coaching summary, but you also, I guarantee that you will feel a lot more confident leaving the call than when you came on the call. So that's there as well. I have a group that is going to be starting soon, because I think the other thing that I notice, especially as we get older, is that there is a little more isolation that we tend to experience, a little more loneliness that we tend to experience. You talked, Lisa, about imposter syndrome. I think that, when you are approaching 50 or older, you have usually been in the same type of friend circle. And I don't know about you, but when I'm with out for coffee, I'm not always talking about how doubtful I'm feeling or how insecure I might be feeling around something or not feeling so confident. And I have friends who see me as outgoing and energetic and confident, can do anything and empowered, which is beautiful. But what happens over time is you start to wonder, geez, I don't want to really start talking about how doubt is creeping in for me, because why would I want to blow my cover with my friends? So what happens is we don't talk about it. And so we tend to feel more lonely and isolated and alone in our doubt. I want to help women just have a different relationship with doubt. You'll never not feel doubtful, but it's learning how to have a different relationship. So with all of that said, my hope is to, in the next month or two, create a group format, also online, where we can come together as women and talk about this and get some coaching through it, at the same time as you build a new friend community. So that's there too. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, listen, it's been great getting to know you and your coaching practice a little bit better today, and how you're helping women overcome some of those feelings of doubt. And thanks for sharing all of your information. Again, folks, this is Lisa Wozniak with Wise Marketing, helping you navigate your yellow brick road. Have a great day.